Welcome back to That Dad Guy. So, I am not in the office, but I am going to be doing some post-crossing today. I've just relocated because my wife is working in the office, as we are all kind of in isolation right now. So we're working from home, or we're studying from home. That's what's going on right now here. So I thought, I've got to get some cards out. Tomorrow is the second month, but the 22nd day of the 22nd year. So that palindrome, I want to make sure that that gets stamped on the cards that are going out so people can have that as a nice surprise when they receive their cards. So what I'll have to do though is get a hold of my in-laws and see if they'll come pick up the cards tomorrow, take them to the post office and make sure they get stamped as of tomorrow's date. If I go and put them in the mailbox outside the house, I'm not sure whether or not they will get postmarked for today's date or for tomorrow's date. So in order to be sure, I'm going to get my in-laws to come pick them up because I can't go into the post office yet because I'm in isolation. So that's the way it works. So I do have one official postcard I can send out, so I'm going to show you that. Then I'll show you a few of the swaps cards that I've picked to go, and we'll go from there. Hope I'm not looking too dreary here. I know I got a little droopy eyes and I'm not sounding 100% myself, but I am feeling pretty good. I've slept most of the last couple days, and I think I'm coming out the other side of this, so that's good. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I am almost at 300. I'm just a couple people away from hitting that 300 mark, so I'm excited about a new milestone and getting there and seeing how far we go from there. Let me show you, or talk to you at least, a little bit about this official one I've got to send out. She lives in the United States. She has a whole bunch of things that she's looking for. She like U.S. state cards, state birds, state flowers, map cards sent from the U.S., dinosaurs, trains, cute animals, spring. I'm not sure what spring is. Does she mean the spring coils or just signs of spring like flowers that are coming up? Children's book illustrations, Disney cats, English gardens, autumn's UNESCO heritage sites, cottage, vintage, landscapes, castles, old houses, love, city views, flowers, wildlife, coffee and tea, green. Not sure what that means, just a green postcard. I haven't seen one of those requests before. Books, lakes, oceans, rivers, the sea, waterfalls, lighthouses, impressionist paintings. All of these things would be appreciated. The only thing she really doesn't want is a folded card or ad cards in envelopes. So I've chosen the Dover Castle for her. Sometimes I struggle with whether or not I should send cards that represent my area, and being from Canada, maybe they should be Canada only cards, but I realize that people collect cards from every vintage, every place around the world, and so it's all right, I guess, for me to send cards that aren't always Canadian. And so you're going to see a lot here of cards that maybe aren't Canadian, but fit the profile. Now, my swaps I have to show you here. What I have been doing is keeping a spreadsheet so I know exactly how many times I've swapped with someone, and I usually write on the back of the card, I say swap, and in parentheses I put a number in there. That's how many cards that I've sent them. And I have a list of the cards that I've sent in the past, so I try not to duplicate things. So if I've sent them a picture of a Canadian flag or a moose or something in the past, that I don't turn around and send the exact same thing next time around. I want to make sure next time I send them old vintage bicycle or something else that they might like. So in this case, keep smiling, because we always know it is going to get better. Things are going to improve around here, and just look at the positive. So these dolphins and the keep smiling are going to go off to somebody, so brighten their day. This lighthouse at Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia is a nice local scene of waves crashing in against the land from the sea. So that's going to go off to somebody. And then we get into a view vintage. This is vintage Petitcodiac River here in Moncton. Just kind of a black and white image of what the tidal bore looked like in 1905. Speaking of vintage, how about this teddy bear? Vintage teddy bear series. So I thought this might be appropriate for somebody. It looks like a nice English teddy bear. I know there was a teddy bear like this in our house growing up. Maybe not with the hat, but certainly that style teddy bear. And Ovens Nature Park in Nova Scotia. This is one of the places that my family and I went to as a vacation this summer. So I thought I would send that off for someone who likes vintage things. And And here is Vintage Retro, I guess. This is a typewriter ad for someone who really likes old style media, is I guess the way I'm gonna put it, and then the print works. So I thought I would send that one off. And maybe for somebody younger, this is considered vintage. The Angry Birds video game, not vintage for me, but I thought very funny, and someone seeing that in their mailbox might brighten their day. And finally, I'm going to send this Did You Know facts about lobsters off to somebody. So we live in the lobster capital of the world. New Brunswick, and specifically Shediac, are one of the places that sends lobsters from all over the world. So lots of things around here have lobster in it, or lobster dishes. Very popular thing to eat, and that's the way it goes. So the next thing I need to do is put stamps on these things, put my airmail stickers on them, and what other stickers and things that I may decide to put on them just to decorate them after I've written them up. And then I'm gonna have to get a hold of my in-laws to see if they would come by, pick up the cards, take them to the post office tomorrow, and make sure they get the 20222 stamp on them, so somebody gets a nice palindrome. So that is the plan for right now. Gives me something to do here at the house, and got all sorts of stamps still, so I still got lots of things going on in order to be able to continue post-crossing. Normally I just walk these out to my mailbox, but I just want to make sure that they get out and stamped tomorrow's date and not today's date. But going forward through the rest of the week, as cards come in and I can continue to write things, gives me something to do in the house. I have a few Lego sets I could put together, so I may look at doing that and doing some videos on Lego for a while. But I enjoy making sure I keep getting post-crossing content out here too. I have that Dad Guy Answers questionnaire that's up that came out this past weekend, so it's on travel this time. So if you want to go back to that video and ask me a question about travel, then I'd be happy to answer it for this coming weekend. Other than that, that's what I got going on here. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and you're getting lots of good cards in the mail and sending out lots of good cards. So for now, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?